Welcome to the Falls Township Zoning Board hearing for Tuesday, June 13th. Can we all stand and pledge allegiance to the flag, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for being patient with us as we got ourselves together in our new office, if you want to call it that. First matter is I was appointed temporary chair for this meeting, and I would like to introduce the people that are here also on the board. I have Nastasha Raisley, Aaron Mackey. On Zoom, I have Bill Kernan. I am Lainey Strylick. My court reporter is Karen Browndorf. My solicitor is Keith Bigleymeyer. From the township, I have Ed Neubauer, and I also have Diane Barry.
Thank you. Here we go.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, we received correspondence in regards to petition number 5. If we can address that one first. We received a letter from Matthew McHugh requesting a continuance of petition number 5, which is Night and Day Properties, LLC, 99 Bristol Oxford Valley Road, Langhorne, Pennsylvania, 19047, tax map parcel 13-001-002, and 13-001-008. Mr. McHugh is requesting a continuance to the July 11, 2023 meeting. He has granted this board an extension to hear this matter until that date, until the July 11th meeting, or until his matter is resolved, I should state. They previously asked for a continuance of their application, which was granted at the previous meeting. That letter was, the previous letter was marked A1. I'll mark his current letter, which is dated June 12th, as A2. And this would need a motion to approve to continue to the July 11th meeting.
Thank you very much, Keith.
I'll
Can I have
make that motion to approve the continuance.
I'll second.
Aaron, can you pull the board, please?
Sure. Nastasha?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Lainey?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Okay, let's go with petition number 1. Scott Mitchell, if you could come up to the microphone and please say your name and spell it for our court reporter, please.
Yes, my name is Scott Mitchell, S-C-O-T-T, last name M-I-T-C-H-E-L-L.
Okay, this is regarding, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. This is regarding 150 Canterbury Road, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, 19030, TMP number 13-007-321, zoned NCR, requesting a dimensional variance to construct an addition which extends within the required 10 feet side yard setback, sections 201-20.f and table 1.
Madam Chair, if we can mark some exhibits for this petition. We'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1, along with the accompanying statement from Scott and Lisa Mitchell. 2 will be a permit denial letter from Falls Township to the applicant dated March 22nd, 2023. 3 will be 4 pages containing 4 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 4 will be the applicant and neighbor notification letters sent from Falls Township. Those letters were dated June 2nd, 2023, and again sent to the applicant and the adjoining or abutting property owners. 5 will be proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier-Times, showing this matter was published May 30th, and then again June 6th, 2023. The last exhibit will be a plan for the proposed addition submitted by the applicant. We'll mark that as ZHB6. That is all the board exhibits, Madam Chair. I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
How can we help you today?
I have an existing deck on the side of my house that my wife and I would like to enclose and make a four-season room. One, it'll make her very happy, and two, we have a 31-year-old special needs daughter who's becoming more and more immobile, and so we're hoping to be able to use that space for her as well.
Okay. Do I have any questions from the board?
Just a quick question, looking at the lot layout that you provided, which makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense where you're going to put it. In that side yard, is there a fence there, or what's the neighbor's situation? Is it at all kind of encroaching, or are they even going to notice it?
Yeah, they shouldn't even really notice it. Their house is actually set on the corner part of the property, and then they also have a tree line on their property that kind of separates their property from ours.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, they're not even really going to see the
Okay.
majority of what we're looking to do.
Okay. Thanks. That's
Bill, do you have any questions?
I have none.
Nastasha, do you have any questions?
I have none.
Okay, I have no questions. Is there any public comment? Please note that there is no public comment. Is somebody going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the applicant of Scott Mitchell requesting dimensional variance from section 209-20.f and table 1 of Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to construct an addition which extends within the required 10-foot side yard setback at the property located at 150 Canterbury Road, Fairless Hills, PA 19030, as depicted on the plans in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Aaron, can you please pull the board?
sure. Nastasha?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Lainey?
Yes. You should expect a letter from the township, and have a good night.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay. Petition number 2, Jon C. Logan, 25 Victoria Lane, Levittown, Pennsylvania, 19054, TMP number 13-019-263, zoned NCR, requesting a dimensional variance to erect a fence in the secondary front yard, section 209-37.c, parentheses 2. Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter,
Sure.
please?
Can you hear me? It's Jon Logan, Jonlogan. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, if we can mark the following exhibits for this application. The application for zoning ordinance appeal will mark as ZHB1, along with the accompanying statement signed by Jon Logan. 2 will be the permit denial letter sent to the applicant from Falls Township. That letter is dated May 15th, 2023. 3 will be the Laura Bucks Joint Municipal Authority letter attached to the application. 4 will be 5 pages containing 5 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 5 is the applicant and neighbor notification letters sent from Falls Township. Those letters are dated June 2nd, 2023, providing notice of tonight's meeting as required. 6 will be proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier-Times showing this matter was published May 30th and then again June 6th, 2023. 7 will be a plot plan. There is red ink, which depicts where the proposed fence would be. And I assume that that was attached to the application submitted by the applicant. That is all the board exhibits, and I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Logan, how can we help you?
Well, we're at our property, 25 Victoria. We'd like to put a fence. There's a fence on the side of our neighbors that is falling down that needs to be replaced. And we would like to erect the fence that would go all the way across the back of our property and to the secondary backyard, which faces Vermillion Drive. We initially wanted to go directly off the house, but we were told that we needed 25 feet off of the sidewalk, which is why we're requesting the variance. So the fence would come off 22 feet off the side of the house and stay within 5 feet of the sidewalk all the way down to the end of the property. We're requesting it because we have no privacy, because we're a corner lot, obviously. And we put a patio in last year. And also, too, we have 2 small children and a dog that we would like to protect and keep safe from any kind of traffic or any kind of issues in the neighborhood, which there aren't any, but if there ever were, you know, we'd like to protect our family. So that's why we're requesting the variance to erect that fence in that manner. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any board comment? Aaron?
No questions, thanks.
Bill?
I just have one concerning the site triangle. You're aware of the site triangle and you'll be out of the site triangle? Mr. Logan?
I was told, actually, I've walked the property, and if you stand where a vehicle would be passing in that corner, you can see the stop sign very well on the corner of Victoria and the Drive. So I don't know. I don't know the ruling for the site triangle per se. I know the inspector, Mr. Neubauer, came out, and I was under the impression that it was okay. I know that it is very visible from where we plan on erecting the fence to.
If we were to approve this, you'll agree that you'll be inside the site triangle, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, wherever
Ed,
that needs to be.
I don't think he heard you. Can you repeat that, Ed?
Bill, it's not in the site triangle.
All right, thank you.
Nastasha?
That's all I had.
Nastasha?
No questions.
And I have no questions.
Okay.
Is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, public comment first. Is there any public comment?
Can I add one thing? I'm sorry, now that I'm up here. We're adding all the gates that are required as well. And there's a gate that's required in the corner by the manhole. Everything will be code compliant per the municipal authority and the township. So just throw that out there for you guys.
All right,
So.
thank you. Let the record show there's no public comment. Is there a motion?
I'll go
I
ahead
can
and
make a motion. All right, go on.
I move that the application of Jon C. Logan requesting a dimensional variance from section 209-37.C2 of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to erect a fence in the secondary front yard at the property located at 25 Victoria Lane, Levittown, PA 19054, as depicted on the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented to the zoning hearing board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll second it.
Aaron, can you please pull the board?
Sure. Nastasha?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Laney?
Yes. You should be receiving a letter from the township.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Okay, petition number 3, SAFStor Old Lincoln LLC, 935 Old Lincoln Highway, Morrisville, Pennsylvania, 19067, TMP number 13-028-039, zoned HC, requesting a use variance to allow a self-storage facility at this location, section 209-23.b. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Mike Peters. I represent the applicant. I'm an attorney with Eastburn and Gray, and I do have some exhibit books, if I could hand them out, please.
Is it pre-marked? Yeah. Okay. I'll make the application, the service has 8 then. Okay. So it looks like you stopped off at 7. Perfect.
Yep.
And I'll note for Mr. Kiernan that the important parts of this, the plan, for example, we will be showing via PowerPoint presentation, which I assume he'll be able to see as well.
Okay, and can you please state your name for the court reporter and be
Sure.
sworn in?
My name is Mike Peters, Peters.
Whatever, I don't know. Sorry, Mr. Attorney.
Thank you very much. Eric, you want to put in the, that way we don't have to stop while we get going.
Should be saved on here.
What's that?
Yeah, I was
Which
gonna
one do you
say,
want? Which one?
It's one of the renderings. It doesn't look like the
Do you know
names
which one?
Just click on the first one to see what that is. It doesn't look like the names came through.
That's not it.
Yeah, it looks like the PDF's moved.
This says
That was.
You still have your thumb drive?
I still, yeah.
Hold on. Wait a sec.
just not.
Here it is. Which one?
Yeah, you could do the, just do that one. That's the aerial. So you want the existing fit? No, it's fine. Yep. So that way we're still open for the other two.
Yep.
It's an aerial.
You gonna zoom in, do all that fun stuff, or
Yeah, if you could just blow it up on the whole screen.
let's see. Oh, that's not what we want.
Sorry, guys, technical difficulties.
Yeah, try menu.
That one?
Yep. Cool.
Thank you very much for bearing with us. Again, my name is Mike Peters. I'm an attorney with Eastburn and Gray, and I represent the applicant SAFStor, capital S, capital A, capital F, STOR, Old Lincoln LLC. The owner of the property we're talking about this evening is Michael Galasso, Galasso, and the property is located at 935 Old Lincoln Highway, which is in the HC Highway Commercial District. Lot area of the property is approximately 2.97 acres and currently contains, and we do have this marked as an exhibit as well. It's tab 4 in our booklet that we've handed out. As shown there, the property has an existing non-conforming lot width. It's narrow. It has significant trees
Excuse me.
in the.
Mike,
Sure.
can I stop you right for a second? Because I have some things that we need to do first before we get into this.
Sure.
Can I have your witnesses sworn in, please?
course.
From the
Yep.
court reporter, and I need to have my exhibits marked. Please state your name and spell it.
Eric Clace from Gilmore and Associates. Last name spelled C-L-A, S as in Sam, E.
Ryan Karen with SAFStor. That's Ryan Karen with SAFStor. That's R-Y-A-N. Last name C-A-R-R-O-N.
Madam Chair, if we can mark some exhibits for this application. We'll mark the application for zoning ordinance appeal as ZHB1 along with the accompanying statement for the applicant, the applicant's attorney, I should say. ZHB2 will be 5 pages containing 5 colored photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 3 is notice to the applicant's attorney providing notice of tonight's meeting, Tuesday, June 13, 2023. That letter was sent from Falls Township dated June 2nd. 4 will be site plan from Gilmore and Associates submitted by the applicant. 5 will be proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published May 30th and then again June 6, 2023. I've been previously provided an affidavit of service from the applicant's attorney. Since there's pre-marked exhibits, it looks like 1 through 7. I'll mark this as A8 for applicant 8, if that's acceptable, Mr. Peters.
Very good, yes, thank you.
And Mr. Peters, all the addresses that appear on this received the notices that appear in this packet. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
All right. Madam Chair, I'm satisfied the appropriate notices have been satisfied, and this matter can proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mike, you can continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Third time's the charm. I won't introduce myself again, but you are, I'm sure, all familiar with the property. It's located at 935 Old Lincoln Highway. It's irregularly shaped, it's long and narrow. There are existing nonconformities in terms of the lot width and the lot frontage, and that affects how we tried to design the site, because our goal was to maintain, as you see, the wooded area at the rear of the property that butts right up against a residential neighborhood. I'll have a representative from the applicant testify about the outreach we've made to those residents, the concerns they've expressed, and those concerns relate to that area. And we have some additional proposed improvements in terms of additional trees and a fence to further insulate their properties from this use. What's proposed is demolition of the existing restaurant building and associated improvements, and construction of a 3-story self-storage facility with a footprint of 34,950 square feet and a total floor area of 104,950 square feet. 26 parking spaces are proposed, as well as I noted before, additional landscaping, including a row of evergreen trees, fencing, and stormwater management facilities. The relief we're requesting, the proposed development, we were able to comply with all dimensional and bulk requirements, with the exception of the 2 existing nonconformities, which may continue, of course. And with respect to the parking, we were forced to consult with the Institute of Traffic Engineers parking manual for a mini warehouse use, because this use is not actually set forth in the zoning ordinance, and we made sure to comply with those requirements. But because the zoning ordinance does not provide for a self-storage facility or a mini warehouse use, we are here this evening seeking a use variance to permit the use on this property. The area surrounding this property, as you may all be aware, consists of a car lot, 2 other self-storage facilities, actually. And we believe that what we've tried to propose here will be a good result for everyone. So with that, I've handed out an exhibit booklet. Tab 1 is our zoning application with our hardship letter and the deed to the property. Tab 2 is a redacted purchase and sale agreement dated December 20th, 2022, between Michael Galasso, the seller, and SAFStor Old Lincoln, LLC. Tab 3 is the CV of Mr. Eric Clace, our engineer. Tab 4 is an aerial photograph of existing property conditions, which is the same photograph you see up on the projector now. Tab 5 is our zoning plan. Tab 6 are our concept building renderings. And tab 7 outline the work we did prior to the application, working with the neighbors to try to satisfy their concerns, and specifically a neighbor notice that we sent out on April 14th, 2023. With that, I'd ask that the deed and the purchase agreement serve for purposes of standing, and I would simply get started with my first witness, Mr. Clace. Eric, if you could, please.
Good evening.
Eric, if you could, run through your profession and your licenses and registrations, please.
Sure. I'm a civil engineer. I graduated from Drexel University. I have a professional engineering license in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland.
And Eric, where do you work currently?
Gilmore and Associates.
And as part of your employment with Gilmore, oh, hey, thank you very much. As part of your employment with Gilmore, what are your day-to-day duties? What kind of work are you doing?
I am the Executive Vice President of Land Design Services.
And what do you do in that role, Eric?
Mr. Peters, if we can shortchange this, I might be able to do it. He's been accepted as an expert before this board.
I
numerous
know he
times.
has. We'd offer him as an expert in civil engineering, zoning, and land development, please.
We can accept that.
Thank you.
Very good, Eric. You're an expert. Congratulations. Yes. Eric, you were engaged by this applicant, is that correct?
That is correct.
And please explain for the zoning hearing board what the scope of that engagement was.
Sure. They had us analyze the site and the feasibility of putting a storage complex on the property.
And did you perform a site visit as well in connection with that work?
I did.
And the neighborhood that I was talking about previously, have you driven back through there as well?
I have.
And Eric, if we look at the aerial photograph, which is tab 4 in our booklet and also on the screen currently, if you could just walk the board through the general location, layout, frontage, et cetera, of this property.
Sure. The property is along Old Lincoln Highway. It's bordered by the red thick line on the screen with the red dot. It's the Michael's Restaurant that exists today. Looking at the screen to the left of the red rectangle is an automobile trucking facility. To the right is another mini storage facility. To the north is Route 1, and behind us is a residential neighborhood.
And Eric, are there existing nonconformities associated with this site?
There are. It's lot width and minimum lot frontage.
And Eric, in terms of the existing building in use, it's a restaurant, correct? We've said that a couple times now.
That is correct.
And I explained the heavily wooded buffer area between this area and the residential development. Is it fair to describe it as a heavily wooded area?
Yes, it is.
Okay, very good. If we could, and Eric, if you could bring it up on the screen, I'd like to turn to tab 5, which is our zoning plan.
Now you're challenging me. Did you see how I did it?
Yeah, hold on. One moment, please. Are you, is it part of the same PDF or is it a different one?
It's a different PDF.
Okay.
Folder.
All righty, there you go.
All right, great. Should be this guy. Do you know how he blew it? That's just another area.
That's another aerial, yeah.
All right, where is it? These aren't ours. Let me put the flash drive in.
Okay.
There we go. It's a little easier.
There you go.
All right, do you know how he blew it up?
Yep. Full screen, perfect. Erica, shown on the screen is both tab 4 in our book and also the zoning plan, is that correct?
That is correct.
And Eric, if you could please walk the board through, if you could, if you can see it easily there, the existing lot width and the lot area.
Sure. The existing lot width is a little under 200 feet. 200 feet is the requirement of the township for lot width and lot frontage. We're slightly under it at 192 feet.
And what about the lot area?
The lot area is approximately 3 acres. Once you remove the right-of-way, it's 2.97 acres.
Okay, very good. And if you could please, Eric, walk us through what's being proposed here.
Sure. On the southern portion of the site on the screen, which is the lower portion of plan view, is Old Lincoln Highway. As you're coming into the project, we have a proposed parking lot with an access drive on the right side of the building, which would be the east side of the building. There's a 35,000 square foot mini storage building, which is 3 stories. You can continue along the access drive to the rear of the building, which is on the north side. There's a little more parking, and then we show a detention basin. Behind the detention basin, there are a row of evergreens, and then a decorative fence, and then is the existing woods behind that.
And Eric, before I let you go on the dimensional requirements, we also noted that there's an existing nonconformity for lot frontage. Could you explain that as well?
Sure. The minimum lot frontage in the highway commercial district is 200 feet. We're at 192 feet existing.
So similar to the lot width issue, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Eric, if you could, and we do have a representative from SAFStor here, could you walk the board through your understanding of the use in terms of hours of operation, employees, that type of thing?
Sure. The hours of operation, as I understand it, is from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. There will be a keypad entrance for people that have storage facilities to enter the building. The actual building itself will be open from 9:30 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. That means you can enter without the keypad. Go ahead.
And do you know how many employees, Eric? If not, we can ask Mr. Karen.
There'll be one
Okay.
on site.
In terms of the parking that's required, I noted earlier that we use the traffic manual. Can you explain your analysis with respect to parking?
Sure. Because the zoning ordinance in Falls Township doesn't have the storage use, we went to the traffic study guide, and the name for it is, so I don't misquote it, the Purda Institute of Transportation Engineers, the ITA. It's their manual for storage uses.
And if you could, please walk the board through the ingress and egress and the circulation that's proposed for the site.
Absolutely.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I may have been holding it weird. I asked Mr. Clace to please explain the ingress, egress, and circulation for the site.
In looking at the plan on the screen, you will see 2 access drives along Old Lincoln Highway, one to the east of the building and one to the west. If you would like, I can go up and actually point, but they're on the screen coming off Old Lincoln Highway.
And Eric, I mentioned earlier that we were proposing additional landscaping and additional buffering. Could you please explain what we're proposing?
Correct. Along the north side of the building, behind the detention basin, you see a row of green circles. They are proposed evergreen trees, and that'll be in addition to the existing woodlands that are there.
And Eric, is there also a fence proposed?
We will be proposing a decorative fence behind the trees.
Eric, if we could please, and I don't think we have this within the PowerPoint, but here's a booklet. If you could look at tab 6, please, within the booklet.
Okay.
Could you please tell the board what we're looking at here?
You are looking at an architectural rendering of what the building will look like on the facade.
And that's, I think there are two sheets there, correct?
That is correct.
Eric, if you could, in your opinion as an expert in this field, could you please explain your opinion with respect to the compatibility of this use with the residential uses to the rear?
I think the advantage of this storage facility over the one that's adjacent to us is there's no roll-up doors on the exterior, so you will not hear doors constantly going up and down. All of the storage units are internal to the building, so someone has to enter the building, go to their unit. You will not hear the noise of doors rolling up and down on the outside.
Eric, I mentioned previously the relief that we were requesting, which is a use variance. Could you please explain for the board why we're requesting that relief?
Yeah, the reason for the relief is the use of storage is not in the zoning ordinance. Therefore, no matter where you would propose it in the township, you would always need a use variance.
And Eric, you heard me explain the narrow nature of the property and also the difficulties posed by the wooded area to the rear. Do you agree with my representations in that regard?
I do.
Eric, in your professional opinion, is the requested variance the minimum variance that will afford relief and allow reasonable use of this property?
I do.
And in your professional opinion, will the proposed self-storage facility use alter the essential character of the neighborhood or substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent parcels, or for that matter, in any way be detrimental to the public welfare?
It will not.
And in fact, I think in talking to you, our hope is that the use will be relatively benign and quiet. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I have no further questions of Mr. Clace at this time.
Is there any board comments? Aaron?
Sure, I just had a quick question. Impervious surfaces, how that's changed from the current, with the restaurant building there. Yes, there's a parking lot, but it seemed like in the picture there was quite a bit of impervious behind, there's quite a bit of change to the impervious surface from the previous.
Yeah, as for impervious surface, we're permitted to have 70% on site, and we're only at 50 with this proposed use.
Okay. I
So-
figured that if it was an issue, you would have brought it up, but
Yeah.
just
The
wanted to
key-
address it.
Yeah, the key here is there's actually no stormwater management controls today. We're going to be controlling our impervious, so it's actually will be a better condition tomorrow than it will be actually today.
Yep, got it, thank you. That's all I had.
Bill, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. My first question, it would be, the wooded lot in the back. Is that gonna be fenced in to keep people out of that?
It will be fenced, yes.
All right, that's that. And then my other question is, the width of the lot, you said it's supposed to be 200 feet and you're at 190 something?
We're at 192. It needs to be 200.
Yeah, all right, so that's just 8 feet, I understand that, but is that in your request for variance for that extra 8 feet?
It is not because it's an existing nonconformity.
All right, that's all I had. I just want to make sure that if we approved it where everything's covered.
No, we appreciate that,
That's all.
sir. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Nastasha?
No question.
I'm sorry? Nothing? Okay. I have a question. The hours of operation, when is the building going to be open where you don't have to do a keypad?
The building will be open with no keypad, 9:30 to 6 p.m., 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And during that time, there's going to be somebody on site, right?
That is correct.
That was the only question that I had. Is there any public comment? Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I've been informed that I should ask, is there any more testimony that you would like to present to us?
Yes, we have one more witness.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Please proceed.
Members of the board, this is Ryan Karen with SAFStor. Ryan, if you could, please explain who you're employed by and in what capacity.
Yes, SAFStor. I am Director of Development.
And how long have you been with SAFStor? I understand you're relative newcomer, is that correct?
Yeah, a little less than 6 months. I started at the beginning of the year.
And if you could, please describe SAFStor Incorporated's business.
Sure. SAFStor is one of the largest and most active developers of climate-controlled self-storage.
And in terms of your duties, and I believe you're Director of Development, is that correct?
Yes.
What are your duties and responsibilities in that role, Mr. Karen?
Largely working with property sellers, engineers, architects to get all of the permits and required approvals needed to construct the building.
And I know that you're employed by SAFStor Inc. If you could, SAFStor Old Lincoln LLC is the equitable owner of the property. What's the relationship between SAFStor Inc. and SAFStor Old Lincoln LLC, if you could, please?
Sure. SAFStor Inc. is the development company that I work for. SAFStor Old Lincoln would be the property level entity.
And the two entities are related, is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
Mr. Karen, if you could, please explain why SAFStor is interested in this property in particular.
Sure. So when we look at new properties, we use, typically there's a national standard of looking at a 3-mile radius and analyzing that area, and then looking at the national average for amount of storage provided per person in that area. The national average is about 7.5 square feet per person, and in the area that we analyzed, it was less than 5, about 4.7 was provided. So we see that it's an underserved area in need of more self-storage. We also look at the quality of the other facilities in that radius, and would note that the other facilities in this radius here, I think, average about 30 years old. They're kind of an older product, so we look at there's a need for more self-storage, and we're providing a climate-controlled option.
You heard Mr. Clace explain the hours of operation and the number of employees. Did you get all of that information correct?
Correct.
And the building renderings that are at tab 6, it's fair to say that those are concepts and not yet finalized. Is that right?
Correct.
You're aware of the residential properties to the rear, of course. I know as part of our work with you, that's been a heavy focus. If you could, explain for the board some of the outreach that SAFStor did with those residential property owners. And as part of that, if you could hit tab 7 of our exhibit booklet so you can explain to the board what that is.
Sure. So my colleague, Chris Russ, who is unfortunately unable to attend tonight, he did reach out. We sent a letter to the neighbors identified on tab 7 at the north of the property, including the 3 direct abutters. And then in addition to the official noticing and the letter that we sent, there was also email correspondence and I believe some phone calls, as well as Chris met with one of the neighbors on the site and walked it. Most of the commentary that we received was around that natural buffer at the back, making sure that we preserved it for views, requests that we fence it in to keep anybody from getting back there. And then a request for more evergreen trees, faster growing, just to maintain that privacy. So we accommodated all of those requests. I believe the outreach went pretty well.
Based on your familiarity with developing self-storage facilities, and you have a knowledge base that's a little different than Mr. Clace's, what's your opinion on whether or not there'll be a negative impact on the surrounding community as a result of this facility, and this facility in particular, because I do understand there is a big difference in having only interior storage units.
Yes, correct. We feel that it would be a benefit to the community, definitely less impactful than a current restaurant or another use that would be allowed on the site. As was mentioned, all the storage units are interior to the building. There's no exterior automotive storage, RV storage, boat storage, anything like that. Everything is internal to the building. Majority of the units, most of the units inside are relatively small. You can compare them to a closet size or an oversized closet, typically a 3-foot wide roll-up door, small unit. So to your point, yes, we feel we're less noisy, less traffic, and generally as a self-contained building, a better neighbor.
And in terms of hazardous materials, odors, fumes, and that type of thing, are those usually associated with your use?
No, they're not.
With that, I have no more questions for Mr. Karen. I would ask that our exhibits be accepted into evidence, and of course, if there are any comments from the public, we'll respond as needed.
Thank you very much. Is there any other board questions for this witness?
I have none.
Okay. Is there any public comment? Would you please come up to the microphone? State your name and spell it, please.
David Russo, DAVID-RUSSO. Just concerned citizen, and guys, great presentation, and I appreciate all the great responses that Chris Russ was able to do for us, especially me. I live in one of the houses that are directly affected to this building proposed. So a couple questions I have. With the hours of operation, the key access, the pad access that folks are going to have, how does that work? And what's the impact going to be for us as residents, with folks driving in the morning, driving out at night? How's that going to impact us?
Sure. So typically, yeah, it's the key pad entry is only from, as we said, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
The typical hours when an employee is there at the main office is, as was said, 9:30 to 6. That keypad access is really just for, it's typically for folks just coming in to pick up an item that they had in storage or to remove it. You're going to see less of the loading. Of course, that can't be guaranteed. But typically that code access, we find it as a convenience for the employees, or for the renters, sorry, not employees. And we do have access, as you see, at the front of the building along Old Lincoln. So any need to go to the back towards the houses would be especially in those hours, I can't imagine the lot being full at the front.
The lot at the front, that's not really that my concern, because my house is behind it. I'm thinking more of the lights coming in at night, at 9:30 at night, coming in, driving in. Are we going to see that in the winter time with the fall foliage that's down?
Sure. Oh, I think that's one of the reasons for the evergreen trees along the fence is for exactly that during winter foliage. So we'll have a full evergreen, and then as well as the fence plus the stormwater area and then the existing 100-foot buffer. I think that all of those things combined should shield from view.
Okay, that was just my first concern. I don't know if that addresses it well enough, because my house is directly to the right, where the evergreens are not going to protect that whatsoever.
Okay.
So I think you have a partner here.
Yeah, what we could do is, through the access drive, we could heavily put a more dense buffer along vehicles entering and facing your property. So to the right, which is the northeast, we could put some additional buffering right there, smaller evergreens and a more dense buffer. We will work with you during land development. This isn't really an issue for the zoning hearing board, but when we come in for land development, we will work with you and make sure it's planted in the correct location.
But you're not going to have a buffer on the right-hand side with trees or any type of foliage of the right of that road?
At this time, we didn't plan to, because headlights would shoot straight to the back, which would be the north. But
Well, that's not how headlights work. Headlights broaden out.
well, I understand that, but
Right.
we will work with you during land development. So
Okay.
we're not blowing you off.
And I appreciate
we
that.
will get there.
Thanks. Well, we're don't take offense to this, but we're a little jaded from the last folks that came in and did some work down at the bottom of our street for the sewer and water. That I understand you do not need to do that type of work this time, right?
Correct. That's correct.
Because the sewer and water is already set up.
It's already on the property.
Yeah, because the last time, it wasn't you guys, I know that.
Right.
But it's not even finished yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and we still have challenges.
But no, we will work with you.
That's good. I know when speaking with Chris Russ, he was telling me, I asked him about RV parking, because sometimes self-storage places have RV parking that just looks atrocious. He says there's not going to be any factor of that whatsoever.
That's correct. Yeah, there's no RV storage. This isn't an RV lot. That's correct.
Okay.
And the zoning hearing board will condition this evening on the representation, so you can hold them to that. So,
Thank you, Mr. Peters.
you're welcome.
Nice. And kind of back to that same topic I was talking about with the lights. I asked Chris Russ about the light pollution that you guys are going to put onto the building for your, safety of the building and stuff like that. He kind of went into a little bit of detail with it, but I'd like everybody to understand what that's going to be.
Sure, yeah. So we typically like to provide wall-mounted light packs with the shielding going down to eliminate the light pollution that you're talking about.
And how high is that light going to be?
Those lights are typically required by code, so they're usually above the emergency access doors. I don't know.
So
that we have-
they're going to be at the lower side of it, not the taller 3-story side?
No, we're not looking to light up the building, especially at the rear. No.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you. I'm trying to think. Let's see. One of the other issues with self-storage facilities, and I don't know if we have the issue here in this area, but there are folks that tend to sleep there. I've heard about it, seen it. I just want to know what your protocols on that is.
Obviously not allowed, not something we would support or engage in. We do have, like we said, the staff there every day when it's open, as well as by the keypad entry. There'll be emergency contact info if anybody was to see that. They could contact us, and we would obviously contact authorities as needed.
Okay. Do you have any issues at other facilities that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And then the last thing I asked Chris Russ was about mosquito control with having the stormwater management system in the back, in the rear there. That's closer to our house. If there's sitting water, stagnant water, that breeds, those fun guys. So we want to try and help eliminate them as best as possible. And I think Chris proposed that the way it's going to be established is it's actually going to be drier than the pavement is going to be during a storm. or after a storm?
Well, I mean, the water is directed. We designed it as a rain garden. It's to promote infiltration as quick as possible. We want to get the runoff off the impervious surface. We want to get it through the soil and into the ground. We do put a lot of plantings in there that absorb the water as quickly as possible. So the whole point of it is get the water into the basin, get it into the plants, get it into the soil. It doesn't have time for mosquitoes to lay their eggs and to grow.
And the protocol you guys are going to use for mosquito control?
We would engage pest control if there was a concern, if there was an issue. We would have regular pest control on that to prevent any mosquitoes.
Do you have any facilities in the area that are similar to this, that you run into this type of situation?
I can't recall having that scenario come up in my experience.
Thank you. Those are my concerns.
Thank you.
Thanks for your comments.
Is there any other public comment? Please come up front.
Hello, my name is Darshana Thacker, D-A-R. Sure.
Maybe it'll be better.
Darshana Thacker, D-A-R-S-H-N-A-T-H-A-K-E-R. And I just have a quick question about the fence. It was referred to as a decorative fence. So I'm just wondering that, the specs on that, how high it might be, things like that.
Yeah, the details of the exact material have not been worked out yet. We can only tell you the location, which would be right behind the evergreens. Again, this isn't the final meeting. We will be coming in front of the township again doing land development, and that will be the appropriate time to call out materials. If there's a specific material or look that the neighbors want, the developer's right here, or they're not going anywhere, we will work with the neighbors as to what they're looking for. Tonight, we only show location. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, too.
Is there any other public comment? Mr. Peters, do you have anything in closing?
Very brief closing remarks. The property itself has existing nonconformities. It's long and it's narrow, and we were faced with trying to preserve this wooded area, which is extremely important to the neighbors. This is a use that on this property works. We are committed to continuing to work with the neighbors. You heard the responses, and hopefully you note that we are being responsive, and will continue to do so as this moves into the land development stage. Other uses permitted on this property: bars, clubs, lounges, breweries, distilleries, motor vehicle garages, and hotels, motels. Not only would they be more disruptive, but in terms of developing the site, as you can see, because of the use we're proposing, our required parking is relatively minimal, which is the only reason that the site actually works and why it works for this use. So we are prepared to continue to work with the neighbors, and we ask for your consideration this evening, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Is there anything from the township?
Nothing from the township.
Thank you.
Your microphone works.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Well, first, I have one
Oh,
more
I'm
question.
sorry, Bill.
Would you oppose if we made a motion to approve that we, on the condition there's no outside storage, including RVs?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Is there any other board comment? Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the application is SAFStor Old Lincoln Highway LLC requesting to use variance from section 209-23.b. Hold on a second. of Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow self-storage facility at the property located at 935 Old Lincoln Highway. My screen keeps going wacky here. Morrisville, PA 19067. As depicted on the plans and in accordance with testimony presented to the zoning hearing board, subject to the following conditions, and that would be no outside storage, including RVs.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Aaron, can you pull the board, please?
Sure. Nastasha,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Laney.
Yes. Thank you for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, petition number 4, Beverage Zone, Inc., 198 Lincoln Highway, Suites 5, 6, 7, Fairless Hills, Pennsylvania, 19030, TMP number 13-005-237, zoned HC, special exception to allow use of the premises as a beer distribution center, section 209-23.C, parentheses 1. Do you have any witnesses to be sworn in?
Yes, one witness.
You can have him sworn now.
Could you state your full name and spell it, please?
Charles Garbarino, Garbarino.
And what, your first name?
Charles.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Madam Chair, if we can mark the filing applications, the filing exhibits for this application. The application for zoning ordinance appeal will be ZHB 1, along with the accompanying statement. 2 will be a letter from the township in regards to the applicant's letter of intent. That letter was sent to Charles Garbarino, May 19, 2023, from the township. 3 will be a letter submitted in regards to this application in support. 4 will be 6 pages containing 6 color photographs, one of which shows that the property was posted as required. 5 will be notice to the applicant's attorney, Mr. Prokopiak, giving notice of tonight's meeting, June 13, 2023. That letter's dated June 2nd, 2023. 6 will be proof of publication of the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published May 30th and again June 6, 2023. That is all the board exhibits. I've been handed by Mr. Prokopiak, certification of service. Mr. Prokopiak, if you don't have any other pre-marked exhibits, I'll mark this as A1 for applicant 1.
There were 3 photos that were attached to the application as well.
Where they, was one an aerial view, and then the other 2 marked the proposed location?
Yes.
Storefront picture, okay.
Yes.
I included them as the board exhibits 4, and there were 6 pages, and they were all included in that.
Just want to clarify. Thank you.
Yep, they're included. Okay, so the certification of service will mark as A1. Mr. Prokopiak, all of the names that are listed on the front sheet received notice of tonight's meeting. Is that accurate?
That is.
All right. Madam Chair, I'm satisfied with your appropriate notice that have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, Jim Prokopiak here on behalf of the applicant Beverage Zone Incorporated. If Without objection, I would just like to summarize the testimony of the witness, and then if you have any questions, we can bring him up and he can answer those questions. As stated, the applicant tonight is looking for a special exception in the highway commercial zone. The applicant's company has acquired the currently operating Beverage Zone, which is currently operating in Suite 5 of the Lincoln Center Shopping Center. They're looking to, that business has been in operation since approximately 1997 at that location. They're looking to expand that existing operation from the suite number 5 into suite 5, 6, and 7. 6 and 7 is currently being used by the Stadium Bar and Grill. That will go away, and that this will be the Beverage Zone will be the 5, 6, and 7. It will be all contained in the existing building, so there will be no overflow, no expansion of the building or anything of that nature. As this is an existing building and existing use and has been used there as a beverage distributor since 1997, there really is no impact on terms of the surrounding area. If he called testimony, he would testimony as to the surrounding, all the surrounding properties are commercial in nature, being an auto body shop, auto sales, a towing company. Across the street is a motel, storage center, and the Salvation Army also abuts that. You can see that on the aerial photo included in your package. And the parking will remain the same. There should be no changes in parking because this is an existing use, and actually we think that there will actually be less parking requirements there in terms of, because the bar use will be going away, so that there will be much less traffic in and out as opposed to the bar that is currently occupying lots 6 and 7. The hours of operation will be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., which obviously is not open as late as the bar. Based on all of those circumstances, the applicant in call to testimony does not believe that there would be any negative impact to the character of the neighborhood, for being it's predominantly commercial in nature, and has been existing use there for many, many years. And with that, if you have any questions, that would be it.
Do I have any board comment? Aaron?
Just a quick question. So, there's a number of different beer distributors around. I don't think I know of any of them that actually serve food or have any kind of restaurant component of them. But is the intention to be just a store, or is there also going to be any kind of restaurant aspect of it?
It's just gonna be a store. No food, no drinking on premises anymore, just a store.
Understood. Okay.
The current bar license will be transferred to someplace else. As part of the business, they're acquiring the beer distributor license, which does not permit those types of being on-air, on-site consumption.
Got it. Yeah, thanks. That's it for me.
Bill?
I have none.
Nastasha?
No questions.
I don't have any questions either. Is there any public comment? Let the record show there's no public comment. Is there anything from the township?
Nothing from the township.
Thank you, Matt. All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I move that the applicant of Beverage Zone Incorporated requesting special exemption from section 209-23.C1 of Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow the use of the premises as a beer distributor center at the property located at 198 Lincoln Highway, Suites 5, 6, and 7, Fairless Hills, PA 19030, as depicted on the plans in accordance with the testimony presented by the zoning hearing board, or to the zoning hearing board.
Thank you, Bill. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Aaron, can you please pull the board?
I sure can. Nastasha?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Lainey?
Yes.
Thank you.
See something from the township. Thank you. I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.